Siege still very strong on the side of Habibi's Kittens. They're going to work their way down. Genesis looking for a target to maybe drop this depth charge on. Tower goes down. They don't even need to really set up for this dragon. They're pushing down. They want to end this game. Prone's still dead for another 12 seconds. And Tristana, okay, almost blowing up that tower in one fell swoop. Gets it down below half. That's now a wonderful hook from Genesis onto Samanusuke. They have the depth charge as well. Wukong is down. Zero Domain just hopping to his heart's content as he is dominating on this Tristana. Luke Hill is trying to fight back on Flat Shark. Prone paving his way, but he will pave his way to his grave. It is a double for Flat Shark, and it is going to be game 3 coming up between Habibi's Kittens and Crowdfund Control.
Yeah, well played on the side of Habibi's Kittens. We're able to get those team fights going. Easy objective secures onto the Baron, and that transitioned them really well towards the late stage of the game as they were able to take down 2 inhibs and continue to turtle with the double ADC comp and the brand, just basically punishing anyone who gets hooked or just melting down through anyone that stands in their way.
Yeah, good stuff there from Habibi's Kittens. We will see who will advance in losers bracket and who will be eliminated at the end of game 3 coming up after the break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back in for DMV Rivals Losers Bracket between Habibi's Kittens and Crowdfund Control. My name is GB Shiv, and unfortunately, I am alone, and you are going to have to put up with just me for the remainder of this last and final game between these two teams to see who gets to move on in the Losers Bracket, who gets to go home. And because I don't want to talk about draft for 8 minutes, here we are with a lot to digest with how these teams are going to play things. Lot of similarities between the sides. Talia for the 3rd game in a row for the side of Crowdfund Control in the hands of Lou Killers. And with the Tristana ban, that meant that Zero Domain was going to opt for something different. He was going to opt for the Syndra this time into that matchup. More control mage focus, not probably as much aggression as the Tristana picks, so we'll see how that mid lane goes. Down on the bot side, Ashe was left up for the first time in this series and was appropriately taken away. Habibi Poppy going to be piloting a very strong pick, but so will Drag of One as he is on the Jinx. This time he's got the scaling. Corki maybe not panning out exactly how he would have liked throughout those first 2 games. We'll see how much damage he can do with Jinx in this game. And then wrapping us up on the top side of the map, Samanusuke. He's been taking that TF, that Vayne, to try to push early advantages in isolation. This time, it feels like he's on a pick that does need to get some attention early. Renekton being paired with Dota to his beater on the Sejuani. Feels like Samanusuke is going to have to be the main character throughout this early game. The ship has been built around him in a sense here. As Dota to his beater, not opting for any sort of AP power clears, opting for something like the Sejuani. And Renekton is the only melee lane he or she can go to. Do have a slight delay. Yeah, once again, Rough Tough on the other side, taking up the Gragas. This time he has gone for Grasp into the matchup. Makes a bit more sense as he's not against a ranged top laner. He will have some opportunities to actually proc that. Trade back with the Body Slam with all that Gragas has available to him. And then Flat Shark on the Viego. Round us out on those 10 champions. But we are on to the Rift. Habibi's Kittens, Crowdfund Control. Who is going to take this game 3 and who is going to be headed back to, I guess, school? I don't know. School's kind of out of session now, so not quite that, but got some polished shenanigans for great technical difficulties. Okay, we should be good. Nautilus just getting deployed as a 5-man. We'll see if they're able to catch anyone. Zero Domain is booking it alone into the mid lane. Don't know if he got any sort of information on the 5-man run down, and Genesis going to be forced to flash early. Nautilus level 1 doing exactly as they had hoped. Maybe would have preferred to have that flash missing from Zero Domain, but they will certainly take it off whoever they can. See Zero Domain getting a cheeky Dark Sphere down there, as both junglers going to start up on those top sides of the map. Deep wards were established, so both teams should know who is going where. But yep, Sejuani going to start out on the red, Viego going to start out on the blue, and the wards will give information to their respective teams that Habibi, Poppy, and Genesis may want to play a bit carefully now that Leona has no flash and that the jungler is likely headed their way. Hook is there from Drag of 1, trying to get some early trades in. Really all it does is lose him his Aftershock. See a level 2 getting hit on that second wave as it comes in now. We'll see if there's any plays to really be made now that Genesis is without that flash from the level 1. Jinx not going to really have too much all-in threat. Habibi Poppy definitely probably going to have the upper hand in any sort of all-out brawl. Genesis does find the edge of the Zenith Blade, but level 2 still hit. Drago 1 going to hang in there, now throws the hook back with the Dredge line, and Genesis losing a lot of HP to the minigun. Prone wants to take it. A rocket shot, just barely not enough, but the Ignite gets it. First blood is there for Drago 1. Does he have another Q up? He does not, but does have a flash. A bit of lack of coordination between Drago 1 and Prone, and now Drago 1's getting pelted by minions, he's getting pelted by autos, and he'll just barely stay alive. Right as Drago 1 flashed in for that passive auto, Prone was already walking back. Bit of desync by the bot side. Not ideal, but they still get a kill. A lot of summoners blown though, and with both junglers on this side, we'll see how it pans out after the Jinx and Nautilus get back from those first recalls. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Samanusuke gonna be working in isolation again. Rough Puff gonna get very familiar with his tower yet again, as it may not be as oppressive. Samanusuke may not be taking as many plates as he did on Twisted Fate or the Vayne, but definitely not gonna be too great of a time for Rough Puff. It is a bit better as Gragas here into the Renekton, to be fair. He gets to actually trade. As Dota 2's beater gonna get caught out by Genesis. Flat Shark here, but so is Drag of 1, and Prone works his way on up here. Genesis is down so low, but Dota 2's beater is gonna die first. Now the engage may come through onto Luke Killers, but the Sejuani hit by the Flame Chompers, both of them getting their ankles bitten off, and Prone is off to the races with a double kill. Really big stuff as Prone is just so accelerated now in this game. And speaking of, Rough Tough has to flash topside. Samanusuke wants to chase in. And with that Call of the Meek, it's a solo for Sam. Everything coming up crowdfund control early here across all the lanes. As Sejuani and Viego getting into a bit of a scuffle on top side. Flat Shark did not grab the scuttle. So we'll just go back to clearing top to bot. But yeah, Prone definitely going to be very scary on this Jinx, already with Berserker's Greaves at 5 minutes. Looking quite nice despite them putting this Jinx pick down for more scaling. The Ashe, you expect to kind of get those laning advantages. Now that interaction kind of getting turned on its head. We'll see if either jungler is able to swing that in any which way. Right now, there are pings onto Dragon by Dota to his beater. He's moving on down, has control wards. Probably is just going to be a scuttle take. Sejuani not going to really be able to take care of Dragons by herself at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Samanusuke now with that dominance. Might have been a dive angle on top side, but again, with Dota to his beater on the bottom side, Rough Puff should be okay to soak up this wave. As long as he dings level 6, I don't think he'll have any issues in a solo dive. Does take a swig of his W. Samanusuke just making sure he gets a Demolish proc. Yep, just that one ding on the tower. Meanwhile, Dragon is going to be calmly taken prone, and Drag of 1 able to move over. And right now, Dragon going their way and a 2k gold lead as well. Grubs will be the next major point of contention. No AP junglers that shred through them particularly fast, but Flat Shark looking up towards this top side. Samanusuke with no flash, Rough Puff goes in, lays down the cast, displaces the Croc, and now Flat Shark is here to try to continue the CC chain, but with dominance, it looks like Samanusuke is trying to get away. The body slam doesn't connect, and Samanusuke going to survive. Not great from Flat Shark, did have to burn the flash trying to get that kill, wasn't even successful in the end. They do force Renekton out, and that does mean that they can move in for these grubs, though. Dota to his beater did take some of Viego's camps, I believe, so he's able to get that bomb. He's able to get a bit ahead in the farm department, but Viego will certainly even that out, and more than happy to take these grubs. Meanwhile, bot side, Habibi Poppy was forced back, and that's going to give even more plate money over to Prone, over to Drag of 1. As Jinx getting certainly accelerated to start us off here in Game 3. And Prone is someone who wasn't quite a standout in those first 2 games. Just kind of being on Corki, just kind of finding damage wherever he can. But now is in a definitely good position to take over this game if the lane continues as it has. Samanusuke getting some nice slice and trades down as we do just see Talia clearing out these waves. She has Merc Treads and actually Zero Domain might get caught out here. The Glacial Prison is flashed away from. Good respect paid by Zero Domain, but now a dive perhaps underneath the tower. Samanusuke, the cask for the mini stun, but he's just able to slice. He's just able to dice. He does escape from the tower. Rough Puff forced to recall with no TP to his name. A lot of these isolated lanes going quite well for the side of Crowdfund Control. Samanusuke going to claim his second plate here at 9 minutes. It is quite a rich crop. We can see in those individual gold leads, almost 1k on the Renekton, just about 1k lead on the Jinx. So in a lot of these early scraps, it is probably going to be Crowdfund Control with the advantage. We'll see if Habibi Poppy can find any good picks with this Astro, make it so that it's a bit of an odd man fight in the favor of Habibi's Kittens. For now, everyone just deploying onto the map. Zero Domain did lose his flash from that previous play. We'll see if Drag of 1 or Dota to his beater pay a bit of a visit there, set up Lou Killers. We did hear from Derive in those past 2 games how important it was for Lou Killers to get freed up from the lane, be able to move around the map. And now Genesis, not going to get caught by the anchor. As Prone actually getting a bit of slows onto Genesis, as Weaver's Wall going to be used into mid lane. Lou Killers wants to chase it onto Zero Domain. The scatter back, buying some space. As Dota to his beater Doesn't quite have the angle. Looks like they still want to chase it, but Viego is here. Flashing from Drag of One. They're going for Syndra, but Flat Shark just wants Blue Killers, forcing him back into play. But now Viego is caught. Viego takes a rock to the face, and it is not any better for Zero Domain. Rough Tough can't get over to assist because there's a croc in his face. And now with Drag of One going to his beater, moving on up, Rough Puff has to flash, and he will escape with another body slam. Everything coming up, CC. Prone gonna meet Genesis as Leona just trying to get some deep vision down. Dragon will be spawning in another 2 seconds, and you have to feel that if you're on the side of Habibi's Kittens, things have not been really going your way. They are still moving Viego down. They do still look to want to start this up. Drag of One is in the area. Weaver's Wall is down. Looks like Craft Control want to come in for the fight. Now here comes Teleport as well. They're just going to turn straight onto the Nautilus, and Drag of One is blown up. Flat Shark now with a reset. Can't quite put anyone on the anchor. Rough Puff here as well. And that should give priority over the Dragon to the side of Habibi Kittens. Not exactly what I would have expected going in. So that will even up the Dragon score 1 apiece. And now Viego may be looking for prone on this bot lane. Sejuani is a ways away in the top side. Flashing from Genesis. Still finds the Zenith Blade. And the Solar Flare strikes down. Flat Shark now with resets. Wants to go in for the Nautilus. Puts him on the Flame Chompers. Another Heartbreaker forward. And it's all set up wonderfully for Flat Shark. He's able to put his blade through the heart of Dragon 1. And now, with a lot of time on that tower, Habibi and Genesis sure to get a lot of plates. Sejuani paying a visit to the mid lane. Again, Glacial Prison, gonna get flashed. Zero Domain, less than excited whenever he sees the Sejuani in his lane. Yeah, really nice play by Flat Shark. Cross-mapping, given that Sejuani was taking away grubs on the top side, to take down prone, get that big shutdown, get Drag of One as well, slow up how quickly this Jinx was just getting fed throughout the course of this game. But meanwhile, one place he has not been able to cushion the lead of is Samanusuke, building himself that 30 CS lead on the Renekton. Merc Treads means he's not too worried about anything Graggy can really do to him. Sejuani moving up to that side as well, but don't think we're going to see any sort of dive. Rough Puff going to try to hold the wave out here, but does slam it with the Drunken Rage. Go to his beater, trying to move through the enemy jungle and maybe look for a pick onto Zero Domain, but believe they are more than aware of his desires. Or are they? Yep, they're going to cancel his back, but alright, no real further shenanigans. Right now, Jinx and Nautilus were moving through River, but they will have to go back, catch that bottom wave. Blue Killers, though, with the Weaver Wall, they do see the Talia across all of this bot side vision. And now, oh, the arrow just going wide. Flat Shark and Zero Domain were eager to get in for some action, but Channel Crystal arrow not finding its mark. Eclipse now finished up on Samanusuke. He does become quite a terrifying croc. Maybe not in isolation. He's just going to keep getting control of the wave. I don't think he'll ever have any push for lethal, even putting the fist bump emote up as he's just going for these trades. He does have Demolish if he wants to try to move in, but Rough Puff having the ult, having enough wave clear, he's going to pay enough respects. Now Weaver's Wall in the mid lane, but the scatter is brilliant. Dota to his beater, still able to find the Glacial Prison, though. Blue Killers needs to catch up, needs to get some wall surfing. Jinx ult hits. Seraph's is procced. And it looks like Zero Domain will just get chased down to the ends of the rift. Or will he? He's staying alive for now, but Dota 2's beater. Finally able to get him. Finally able to take down that Syndra. And will be able to Arctic Assault out the back. Ashe and Leona moved up for any sort of Herald fight. It will cost them first tower on bot side. Doesn't feel like a favorable secure here for the side of Abibi's Kittens. Jinx now up, still 8k in this game. Renekton still very strong himself, but now he's going to get visited by Flat Shark. Dominance is popped. Rough Puff putting down some CC, but Sam easily able to slice back. The cask is not going to be on point. Sejuani now up to the top side as well. We thought that would have picked like Sejuani, Dota to his beater, would be paying a lot of attention towards this Renekton. Really has not been the case. Really has still been an isolated top side of the map. Simnusuke peering his head out of the reeds, as a crocodile is wont to do. Dragon spawning in about 7 seconds. Teleports available on everyone except Lu Killers. Prone would certainly like to have his flash ready for this incoming fight. Zero Domain just barely going to get his back up as well. Lu Killers has been the beneficiary of a lot of action throughout this early game. 3-0-3 on the Taliyah. Doesn't quite have the stacked up Seraphs yet, whereas Zero Domain at least has that to his name. Right now, Dragon Control is there for the side of Crowdfund Control. Herald gets summoned up in the bot lane, and now Arrow is going to just hit onto the Sejuani Weaver's wall to try to provide some peel, I guess, but everyone piles in onto Dota 2's beater. Now Rough Buff here gets a flash out of Lu Killers, and Renekton, he teleported back to topside. It is a concession of the Dragon, but Prone able to get the mid lane tower. Samnusuke also going to work on the top side. He should be able to get that structure as well. So good pivot out from Crowdfund Control, understanding that the Dragon, not something they can really go for. Okay, Zero Domain does have to get off the Herald, but, I mean, Lu Killer is just going to get hopped on by the Viego. Decent shove to buy some space, and Taliyah will stay alive. I believe it may have been better for Lu Killers if he allowed Syndra to get the charge down. I don't know how Zero Domain would try to U-turn out of that situation. But if he charges in, I believe the Herald dismount would proc Unraveled Earth, stun him up, and then Lu Killers maybe could have flung him back into tower or something. Very ambitious road trip from Zero Domain to go up to that tier 2 tower. So right now it is about a 5k gold lead for the side of Crowdfund Control. Early game definitely going their way. Definitely something they were hoping for with a more active pick like the Sejuani, not putting Dota 2's beater on these AP power clearers. Prone has already crested that 2-item mark on the Jinx, giving himself that eye edge and Kraken Slayer. Rough Puff will be fairly tanky this time. He is not going for the Roa build as he did in game number 2. It is going to be Sunfire and then probably into Seraphs from there. Or no, it could just be straight tank with that Kindle Gem and Ruby Crystal already in his inventory. So he will be a pretty beefy Gragas that Prone will take some time to get through, but he is more than certainly in a position to carry this game. Yeah, pretty tame mid-game thus far We will have a dragon coming up in 2 minute 30. And I mean, it's really going to be probably about Prone in this upcoming fight. He's built himself up such a lead in both carry positions, actually, Crowdfund Control, with the current item lead. We'll see if Habibi and Zero are able to even that out in the next 2 minutes. But yeah, Luke Killer's had a stellar game 1 on the Talia. Made the most of all the setup that his teammates provided. But now Genesis trying to get something set up here in the mid lane onto Drag of 1. They're just collapsing full in onto the Nautilus. But Luke Killers arrives. Drag of 1 just barely finally going to go down as Dota 2 is beater taking up everything. Genesis has to flash away. Habibi just gets chunked by the Death Rocket. And Zero Domain forced to pay his respects. It is a lot thrown out, but only 1-4-1. Flat Shark was so close to getting a reset. So close to getting to the corpse of Drag of 1, but he just could not get the kill in time. And that is a ton of flashes blown for this upcoming dragon fight. Flat Shark, no flash. Genesis, no flash. And Drag of 1, no flash. So, it'll be interesting to see how the teams go given those fallen summoners. You do see the build for the Gragas coming in with this Fimble Winter. So, yep, going pretty tanky thus far. And Genesis, again, going for the play in mid, but the flash out from Prone. And now it's time to brawl as Habibi Poppy is just caught on the chompers. And Prone is chomping at the bit to keep the train going. Genesis is Zenith blading out. He's got to cast Appeal, but Samanusuke asserting his dominance. Prone rolling through with a double kill. And actually, this could be Baron in the sights of Crowdfund Control. And one thing I didn't even talk about is the fact that Prone is on this Jinx in the first place. They switched up the bot support here for Crowdfund Control, getting Prone in the ADC position on this Jinx carry, and it is paying dividends. They get the Baron at 22 minutes. But yeah, Prone, he's a guy that when you look at the DMV, or the last DMV tournament with that auction tournament, Prone was a guy who caught my eye constantly, making a lot of kind of 1v9 plays on Aphelios, on Ashe. So it is interesting to see him now be on the AD carry position, but Dota 2's beater is now going to get caught out here. Flame Chomper's buying a lot of space for now. The Sejuani able to just barely dash out to safety. Now Viego trying to go in, trying to hunt down a reset, but his own heart is broken, and it's Prone getting excited. Weaver's wall is placed very nicely, and it's time to keep this Jinx going. It is 3-0, and Samanusuke looking to make it 4. Pops the dominance, flashing in. He is a ruthless predator indeed. As Zero Domain now cannot deal with the Croc. It is a huge advantage to the side of Crowdfund Control. They take control, and it's an ace here for the red team. The game has been paused, as I would imagine Habibi's Kittens are investigating Flat Shark ulting over the wall. They said there's no way he actually did that. There's no way he flipped the entire game ulting for, I guess it was a Talia or Nautilus. Who knows? So we'll see. There's been a lot of DCs thus far in this. Unfortunately, it has constantly been Habibi Poppy, I will say. So interesting strategy by the side of Crowdfund Control to DDoS the namesake of Habibi's Kittens. The not even the captain, but like the figurehead, if you will, as Habibi Poppy will try to get back into this game. So far, everything really coming up Crowdfund Control. We've had some pretty close games between these two teams, but now 10k gold lead opening up at 23 minutes. And the leads are all across the map. It's going to be pretty difficult for Habibi's Kittens to find any sort of claws in this stage, at this stage of the game. You know what? We can go back and watch the fight. You know, it's oh yeah, he did ult over the wall for Talia. So yeah, we can go back. We can watch the fight. Hopefully they get the pause figured out. Go to his beater, just moving in, trying to take whatever space in the cask. Just not able to get him back, as I believe the Genesis stun stopped Dota to his beater from being brought back all the way by the Grag Assault. And then Flat Shark trying to dunk over the wall. Blue Killers still had the Seraphs, still was pretty healthy. No resets for the Viego, but tons of resets for the Jinx. And then Samanusuke just able to come on in the end, sweep up a ton of these kills. Have they resolved Habibi's internet? Unclear. Alright, looks like they did. Yep, okay. Looks like we're good to go. As tons of gold being taken across the map. Now 11k gold in the favor of crowdfund control. If you're Habibi's Kittens, you're going to need a few minor miracles to get your way back into this one. There's so many Merc Treads on the side of crowdfund control. It's going to be hard for Genesis to really go for any isolated picks where they try to claw their way back into the game. Rough Puff, no kills or assists to his name just yet. He is a guy that, you know, his teammates talk very highly of, just being willing to do whatever the team needs. If the team needs a tank-focused jungler, he's going to play it on the Jarvan. If the team just wants to put the tank up top, he's going to be playing the Gragas, the Ornn. It's very valuable, certainly, to a team to have that flexibility, have a player who's willing to be more of that supportive, not be the star of the show. Still got to find ways to execute here on the Gragas. Needs to perhaps separate out some valuable target from the crowdfund control backline. And it all starts with Prone now, as he has a full item up on Habibi Poppy. Do they have any sort of engage? Nice cask brings Samanusuke back, and the Renekton is going to be skinned down. Luke Hill is trying to show up to the fight. A massive flick back with the depth charge on top. They're trying to dive in, but Prone is just firing and firing all the rockets he needs. Zero Domain dodging away from the zap. Won't avoid the Super Mega Death Rocket. Prone just got to fire at will, and then some in that fight. Took so long to get through Samanusuke, to get through Drag of 1. And now it's going to be Inhibitor falling in the top side. BB Poppy, Zero Domain back onto the map, but they will not deter the carries. Knight's Vow is there already for the Nautilus, so Jinx even that much harder to take down. Onto the mid lane towers they go. Rough Tough does have a teleport, as actually Zero Domain putting in a lot of work, and now Luke Hill is being forced back by the Ashe. Genesis is around the wings, and now teleport. Have they overstayed? Rough Puff finds the body slam, finds the cast back into the wall. Zero Domain sweeps up a shutdown onto the Talia, and now Prone cannot deal with the big man on campus. A massive overstep gives some life to Habibi's Kittens. So yeah, some big shutdowns going the way of Habibi's Kittens. CC not paying the needed respects to the Gragas TP, to Leona getting back out onto the map. And, I mean, Zero Domain doing good work here on this Syndra. It's been on Tristana duty for not only this series, but a lot of other series. Is doing quite well on the Control Mage. Given the circumstances, given the fact that there were a lot of losing lanes across the map for him. We will see HK take this opportunity to get control back of the jungle, make sure Viego can sweep up their camps. Still a minute out on this ensuing dragon fight. Well, we did talk about Prone being basically a full item up. The same is true of Samanusuke in the top lane. Black Cleaver now in his inventory alongside the Sterix, alongside the Eclipse. So if he's given time to wail, if he's given opportunities into this backline, he's going to be very hard to take down. The Warmog is also completed by Dota 2's Beater. Very rare that we see any jungler not named Ivern reach that 3-item mark, but both of them have achieved it this time around. Viego hoping for a bit more staying power with that Sterix. And if he can get a reset onto even just Drag of 1 on the Nautilus, something that can really allow him to go make plays, maybe hunt down some of the carries, could be huge. But for now, it will just be an uncontested dragon in the pockets of Crowdfund Control. Baron is about to spawn onto the map. They are leaving Samanusuke down to solo. No, they get fully off of it. They blue ward up Baron. They know that there isn't really a take. They get back mid control. Luke Killers has TP, so it looks like he's the one they're going to deploy down to the Dragon, Samanusuke as well. So they split up 3 and 2. Will still be about what we expected. Soul Point going to go over here to the side of CC. Meanwhile, HK trying to move in, get some vision back, knowing that there are members occupied on that Ocean Dragon. But things certainly becoming, or staying dire rather, for the side of Habibi's Kittens. And now Baron control is there. Super minions gonna start to make their presence known on top side. Zero Domain does have teleport, as does Luke Killers. They are both down in the bot side. That Baron start ended about as quickly as it began. But now they are back to the worm. The super waves have to be answered in the top side. Zero Domain is now walking up, but this Baron is going to go down pretty fast to this Jinx. They have full information as they're trying to get back up onto the Rift. It's already down below 5k. Viego will not be seen anywhere close by. An easy Baron take. Pro now just walking up, finds Flat Shark with the zap as Dota 2's Beater just walking up. They may have left their Jinx though. Prone has to cleanse, has to flash. Drag of 1 there to provide the depth charge. And now more CC from the Sejuani. They've got Genesis dead. And it's time for Prone to smash apart the side of Habibi's Kittens. Luke Killers rides in on the wall. And the kitties have been declawed. Luke Killers wants more. There's the flash out from Zero Domain. But Dota 2's Beater, Samanusuke, everyone converging in. A double for Talia. Put that Syndra on an anchor. Flat Shark needs some kind of reset, needs some kind of miracle. But there is nothing for him. It's an ace. And Crowdfund Control will pad their stats, I guess, by taking an inhibitor. They will take the Nexus in the end and move on in the losers bracket. 2-1 Genesis, the power of the sun. Nowhere near enough to stop Prone. Nowhere near enough to stop Crowdfund Control from moving on. So yeah, that is going to wrap us up. Crowdfund Control do get to move on in the bracket. We will have to say goodbye to Habibi's Kittens. A well-fought tournament from Rough Tough Afropuff. Flat Shark, Zero Domain, Habibi Poppy, and Genesis. But Crowdfund Control now getting an opportunity here to keep their dreams at a DMV title alive. The switch up on Prone to put him in the 80 carry position looked quite nice here on the Jinx. That is going to do it for us here. I am too tired to bring anyone in. And we will see you guys possibly tomorrow for the match between Oh no, Big Rat's not up yet. Between someone. It's Meow Meow and Korea. You can back USA or you can back Korea. It's not the Olympics. And we will see you then.